Hello there. A few days ago I played a last round in the Lonewolf Open tournament, and I think it was very interesting and very instructive game, so I want to share the game with you. You can see that I lost the game, but yeah, you will see why. It's a tragicomical story. So let's go to the game. And before I start, I just want to emphasize that during this analysis I didn't use the engine. So I didn't use the engine during the analysis. I didn't turn on the engine after the analysis. So this analysis is completely engine free. So if you see that I missed something obvious, maybe there was some great tactical strike which I missed, or maybe I made a blunder which I didn't see in my post-mortem analysis, then please just post it in the comment, and I'll be happy to discuss it and to analyze this further. So that being said, let's go to the game. I opened the game with e4. He went for Karo Khan, and now I just played my usual line, so taking the center. He played d5. We exchanged the pawns, and now bishop to d3, controlling this f5 square. Knight to c6 was played in the game, attacking my pawn. So c3 as a response, knight to f6. And now usually here I play h3 because I want to develop my knight, and I don't want to, allow the pin here by his bishop if my knight is developed. So this is all familiar. These are the moves. This is the position I faced many times. So nothing much to say here. But now we went into territory out of the book, and he immediately struck in the center here with e5. So this allows white to get in the position in which I will play against isolated queen's pawn. So I don't want to allow this pawn, to progress, of course, because then, all my position will be cramped. So I practically have to take the pawn, and he took with the knight. And now we are in the position of the isolated queen's pawn. If you don't know how to play with or against isolated queen pawn, the strategy is actually very simple. It's all about controlling d4 square and stopping him to push the pawn. So both sides wants to control the square in front of the pawn. Black wants to push the pawn at some point. White wants to exchange minor pieces and go in the endgame with heavy pieces so that he can attack this weak pawn and so on. So this is the strategy. So here he is attacking my bishop, and I made a move which is not good, which is slow move. This is bishop to c2. So I just retreated the bishop. I think this led me into some troubles because now I'm lacking development. So he has two developed pieces and pawn in the center. I have only one developed piece, and also this bishop to c2 violates the opening principle: don't move the same piece twice until you are developed completely. So I think here a better move would be, for example, queen to e2, just hitting the knight and pinning the knight. So for example, this developing move, or maybe even give up the bishop pair and just, go on and play knight to f3 here. I mean, if he takes the bishop is defended, or, any other developing move. Even this check maybe is an option. I was considering this move, but I didn't want to exchange bishops so soon. So I think this move was not a good, which is playing the game. And also, given what I just said regarding the isolated queen pawn, this is the light square bishop, and the whole battle will be about d4 square, and d4 is the dark square. So I don't really need a light square bishop in this position to play this position correctly. So I could have just ignored this threat and go on and develop. Anyway, I played bishop to c2, and now he played bishop to c5, developing, preparing to castle, and also controlling this d4 square. And you can see that his development, he has three pieces developed, he's ready to castle. I'm lacking in development. So I was thinking here what to do, and I decided to play knight to f3, and this question mark and all other annotations are my entry. It's not engine evaluation. So now, in retrospective, I don't like this move because it allows him to push the pawn. So I think that a better option would be, just maybe knight to e2, controlling d4 square and not allowing him to push the pawn. So, for example, the variation I saw here, so is knight f3. So if he takes the knight, I take with the queen, and then he can just push the pawn, I think. And if I take, he can take with the queen, and I mean, he still has huge development advantage. and he get rid of this potentially weak pawn. So in retrospective, I don't think I'm not satisfied with knight to f3. I would rather play knight to e2 if I was to play this game again. But anyway, I played knight to f3, and now he took the knight, I took, and now he castled. So he castled, and I gave this, you know, dubious sign, because here again he could have just played d4. But he didn't. Okay, so he castled, I castle, and now he cannot play d4 anymore, because now if he plays d4, I have rook d1, you know, pinning the pawn, and then I can just go on and win the pawn. Okay, so here he played rook to e8, and now I develop my bishop with a pin, bishop g5, you know, now the knight is pinned. And here he played the bishop to e6, you know, protecting the pawn. I don't think it's a good move. I mean, I don't like this when the bishop is just, you know, a tall pawn, or overgrown pawn, stuck between two pawns. So I don't think it's a good move, but I'm not sure what better move there is. And now in this position I had a chance, you know, to ruin his pawn structure. So I had the chance to play bishop takes knight. So if he takes, you know, if he takes with the queen, I take with the queen, he takes, and now he has, you know, so many weaknesses in the end game, which gives me a great advantage. And the same structural problem would be if he didn't take with the queen, he could immediately here take with the pawn, but again, you know, he has so many pawn islands and so many weaknesses. So I did see this, but I was thinking, okay, this knight is pinned, I have time to play it. I don't have to play it right away. So I decided to develop instead. And I'm giving this a question mark because I didn't see that he can just unpin, and now I don't have the opportunity anymore. So I just didn't see this move. Yeah. So this is why I give this a question mark. And when I was playing this move, I was considering, can he play d4? And I think not, because if he played d4 here, I can just play knight to b3, attacking the undefended bishop. He has to defend bishop somehow, and then again I can, you know, bring the rook, pinning the pawn, and the pawn will fall. So this is what I was thinking when I played knight. I thought, okay, I have time to play this. Let's just play the knight here, develop, and he cannot push the pawn. Okay, he played this, like I said, and now very poor move, very weak move, queen to d3. I was attacking, you know, h7, thinking that, okay, I can remove the defender and then I can take h7. And if he plays h6, I can go h7 and, you know, mate. But actually, it's not a mate. I didn't calculate this all the way through. So, I mean, after he played in the game h6, if I now take the knight, he takes with the bishop, I give check, he goes here, I give check, and he has this escape square. And my queen will most likely be trapped. So I didn't calculate this all the way through, and I was thinking that, yeah, for some reason this will be a killing move. I didn't see that if I take, he recaptures, then e7 square is free, and his king can go here and escape. So black played h6 here, and it was only at this point that I realized that this doesn't make any sense, because this doesn't work. So I just retreated my bishop, and now he played queen to b6, attacking my pawn, and also, you know, making some pressure over here on this diagonal, pinning this pawn. So I had to deal with this queen takes b3. So I was thinking how to do this, and I thought about two ways. One is to block with the knight, and another was to block with the bishop. But another thing, when playing against isolated queen's pawn, you want to gain control over this square. So ideally, my knight wants to come to d4. So I was thinking, how can my knight come to d4, you know, blockading the pawn and having the outpost, because there are no pawns on c and e file. So I was thinking, if I block with the knight, then if I jump here, again my pawn will fall. So this is why I decided to play bishop to b3. I'm also hitting the pawn, you know, blocking this attack, and now I can go with my knight the other way to d4. He played rook a to d8. Now he is allying his rook with the queen, but if I manage to blockade this pawn, then it doesn't really matter, because this file will never be opened. So here I played knight to f3. And now let's just hold for a moment here. So my goal is, like I said, to put the knight here. And I want to have the permanent outpost of this knight here on d4. So in order for my knight to be, you know, here forever, and for black not to be able to chase it from here, I need to exchange two minor pieces. So I need to exchange this knight and this bishop for my light square bishop and my dark square bishop. So I want to give the bishop pair. So let me emphasize, so I want to give the bishop pair for his two pieces. Because these are the only two minor pieces which can attack d4. So if I manage to exchange, to make this exchange, then my knight here will be forever. So this is my strategy. And from how my opponent played the next several moves, I can conclude that he didn't, either he didn't know about this or he just didn't realize that this was my plan. So instead of fighting for keeping these two pieces, he just voluntarily gave them away. So first move he played was a knight to e4, and now I was very happy. Okay, great, I can exchange now the dark square bishops. I immediately took the bishop, he took back. So goal number 1 is achieved. I have managed to exchange dark square bishop. So if only I could exchange this bishop for this knight, I will be very, very happy. And this is what he, just gave me. So I jumped here on d4, so my knight is an ideal place, and he played the knight to c5, forking the queen and the bishop. He probably thought that, he will win my bishop, and which bishop is worth more than knight or something. So I was very happy, and I retreated my queen, and I was hoping that he will take the bishop, and he indeed did. And I took the bishop back with the queen. So if you can see now, what I was just talking, I managed to exchange all these pieces, and now he cannot chase this knight ever. He has only light square bishop, this is dark square, and he has heavy pieces. My knight is supported by the pawn, he doesn't have any pawns to attack my knight. So ideal situation. And for this reason here, I thought that I can go to the endgame, because I have a good knight versus bad bishop, so it favors me to go to the endgame. So I decided to offer the queen exchange, hoping that he will go for it, and he did. So he took the queen. I took with the a pawn, opening the a file, and now he just closed the a file by playing a6. And now the endgame goes on. I am developing my pieces which are not developed. So I played rook f to e1. Another candidate here was this rook to d1, just making the indirect pressure to this pawn. I think both moves are fine, but when I was calculating, I was considering this d1, I was afraid of him penetrating and some future penetrating to e2, so I just wanted to secure the penetration squares. So this was the idea of playing rook f to e1 here, to control the penetration squares. So he can double, he will double. He did play this as a next move. So he doubled the rooks here, and I mean, these are 3 penetration squares I need to take care of. So this is why the rook is here, and this is why I played the king to f1. So now I'm supporting the rook and I'm controlling penetration squares. And now here he played f5, which I think is not so good a move, because yeah, it does allow his king to come into game, and this was the reason why he played this. But now I can take if I now take the bishop, then this pawn will remain undefended. While here, if I take the bishop, he can take with the pawn and still, defend this pawn. So now some tactical, ideas of, putting the rook here maybe, and remove the defender and take the pawn are in line. Maybe, I don't know why I didn't consider this move f4 here right away. Just, to block this pawn, and then now both pawns are blocked and his bishop is terrible piece. I'm not sure why I didn't consider it. Anyway, I played rook to e2 here, wanting to double up here. Maybe, or being flexible. I mean, keeping the rook flexible, so maybe here, maybe here. He brought his king up. And now I was thinking about, these two moves. And I thought that I may try this trick removing the defender. So I played rook to d1, indirectly attacking this pawn. And here he played g5. Okay, and in this position I decided to go to the pure pawn endgame, which I thought should be better for me, but it's not clear. It's very unclear. So maybe I should have, kept the pressure a little bit more. So I have the knight he cannot remove. I'm pressuring this bishop. I'm attacking this pawn. I have rooks. I can double on both lines if I want. So I could have just, trying to find some ways to improve the position while keeping the tension, and this will probably be the best. But my calculation was as following. If I take this, he has to take with rook, I take rook, he takes, I give check, he goes away, I take the rook, he takes away. So I can exchange all these pieces, and what do I get in return? I get that my king goes to d4, and his king will be on d6. So my king is better. My king is in the center, and also you can see that now with our kings here, I can maybe force him into zugzwang, because he cannot move his king, because if he moves his king, I will penetrate. So this all happened in the game, so let me show you. So I took here, and we just exchange everything. So takes, check, d7, takes, and now the king goes up. His king goes up, my king goes up, his king goes here, my king goes here. Okay, so this is what I saw, and this is what happened. So my idea was he cannot move the king, because if he moves the king, I will penetrate either here and here, and then I will win the game. What I didn't see is the move he played next, and this is b6. So now I no longer have a zugzwang opportunities, because now he can just go to and fro here, and I cannot penetrate on this side because this pawn is controlling this square. So this looked like a draw to me. At this moment I thought, okay, this will be a draw. But I still had one possibility, and this is this pawn break, c4, which could be very dangerous. So I think I should have, either play this right away or keep this as a possibility. And here I made a mistake, I played b4. And now I believe this is a draw, because now I no longer have this c4 break. I mean, I can play this break, but then I'll just end up with the doubled pawns here. So I don't have this break anymore, and I don't have zugzwang because I cannot go here. So in my opinion, my opponent should just go, king here, and just go through these two squares, and I will not be able to break. So I think he had an easy draw here. But he played another move. He played h5. I guess he wanted to win. I played f3. Now closing the position, and now he played b5. And this is what I think is a major mistake, because now I'm definitely winning. Why? Because he gave me the c5 square. So once all these pawns get blocked, well, his king has to move somewhere, and I can just penetrate. So just to give you, an example. So let's say I played the g3 here, and let's say he played f4. I can just take. He takes. I play h4, and now he's in zugzwang. So he has to move. I mean, if he moves here, I'll just penetrate here, pick up this pawn, and go on and win. If he goes on the other side, I'll just go here, and again I will pick up these pawns and go on and win. So in this position, I mean, this b5 move is definitely a blunder, losing blunder. And the game continued, so I played g3, and now he saw that 3 pawns against 3 pawns. This is every Russian schoolboy knows position, in which you know how to usually break. You start with the center, and then in whichever way white takes, you can break on the other side. But here it doesn't work because my king is too close. So he went, for g4 here. I took with the h pawn. It's important to take with the h pawn, and here he play f4. And in this position, this tragedy occurred. So my internet connection broke. And it's not a problem that my connection broke. I could just continue playing on my phone. But I didn't realize it broke, because I am playing this on the physical board and my computer is on the side. So I was looking at the board, and I'm waiting for, for the sound. When he makes a move, the computer makes a sound, and then I transfer the move and I go on and play. So I was waiting for him to make a move. I was waiting, and at some moment the sound goes, and it was the sound like you lost on time. I was like, what happened? And then I realized that my connection broke. He played the move. I didn't see that he played the move because my connection broke for some reason. And when my connection was restored, I just, notified that I have lost the game. So this is 100% winning endgame. And yeah, unfortunately, this internet stuff happens. So I was very frustrated, as you can imagine. So anyway, let's imagine that my internet connection didn't break and I didn't lose the game. So here I was planning to, I saw that he wants to go for this maneuver, and I would just play g takes f4, and now the whole idea of this maneuver is to create a passed pawn. but this doesn't work because it's just king to e3, and you know that my king is within the square of the pawn, so he cannot promote. I can stop it with my king, and now I can just, you know, push my pawns, and I'm 2 pawns up and he cannot stop them. So this is obviously winning. And another alternative after this, what else can he do? He can just take. If I take, I have 2 pawns here which are unstoppable. So this is 100% winning position against any engine, against any world champion. I would win this position, but yeah, I cannot win against bad internet connection. So this was it. I hope you liked the analysis. Like I said, I didn't use any engine, so if you notice something which I missed, please leave in the comments. I did my best. I'm trying to understand the moves and understand the position without being influenced by, you know, engine suggestions, which most of the time I don't understand. I didn't think I made any blunder. I think if I have, I would probably spot in the post-mortem analysis. But anyway, this is my understanding of chess, and I think this was an instructive game. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, support the channel, and I will see you very soon with more chess. Cheers.